Whether you're watching, listening or reading this, welcome back to the Runpreneur vlog. Today we're going to talk about unleashing the power of your memory bank and how you can use this to maximise your productivity and mindset moving forwards. So this is all part of the Runpreneur challenge, which is our mission to raise £1 million for children's charities by run vlogging on consecutive days the distance of one lap around the world. It's a staggering 40,075 kilometres. It's going to take somewhere in the region of 11 years to accomplish, so plenty of time to raise the money. I'll commit to running whilst vlogging a minimum of 5 kilometres every day, and I'm even going to do it barefoot style. So as always, please support the challenge. Hope you like the content by subscribing, liking and sharing, and let's get started. So, unleashing the power of your memory bank. Okay, so before we start, it's a beautiful morning today. It's about 11-12 degrees, but the sun is out. It's due to be a hot one today, so I'm out nice and early today. So it's lovely running conditions, barely any breeze, which is just perfect. So no complaints there. So unleashing the power of your memory bank. So what do I mean by your memory bank? Well, your memory bank is a combination of your experiences in life. And the thing with the memory bank is there'll be really profound events that happen throughout your life that are almost so profound they'll be secured in your memory bank almost for life. So maybe you've had something amazing happen, or maybe you've had something traumatic, or maybe you've had something extremely painful, like you've lost a loved one or something. Those memories are kind of fixed in your memory bank for life, and you know, very, very difficult to remove them. But you'll also have a lot of kind of experiences that are in between those kind of massive positives or massive negatives. There'll be a lot of in between memories there that will often just disappear. You know, you'll keep them in your short-term, medium-term memory, but many of us will lose them in the long term. And what we're trying to do here is realise the power of what this memory bank can do. And I took a lot of this from Tony Robbins. Now, I'm not a huge Tony Robbins fan, but I've watched a couple of his documentaries and understand a little bit about what he does. But there were some things that he did about the power of positive and negative forces, and that you can turn any given situation into a positive, or you can turn any given situation into a negative. And I think when you go back through evolution, human beings as we are created, our mind is geared as a kind of to be anxious, to be worried. It keeps you alive. Like, if you go back to prehistoric days, our mind would always be aware of the surroundings, of danger, so that it can it can react accordingly. If a lion was around the corner, you know, your mind would tell you, you know, you need to get out of the way here, otherwise you could end up being a lion's meal, for example. So we're almost wired to focus on the negative aspects, you know. and what he said is that let's try and use that lion's meal scenario as an example of how you can put a positive on that. Okay, you come across a lion. Okay, yes, you need to avoid it, because otherwise you're going to be lion's meal, and you get worried, and you kind of you have, you know, reactive action that kind of comes from that to try and keep yourself safe. But maybe, you know, you could use that experience as a positive and say, you know what, right, there's a lion here. This is obviously lion's terrain, so let's mark this somehow so that I know that on my travels to stay clear of this area. It would be trying to turn a negative experience into a positive, which would mean the positive would be that you wouldn't come across that lion in that area again, because you've proactively taken action to mean that you won't step in that territory again. Something like that. I mean, it's probably a bit of a naff example there, but I'm trying to show you that you can be proactive or reactive, positive or negative to any given situation. Okay, so the point here, and linking back to our memory bank, is that we have this store of extreme experiences in a positive and negative fashion, and we all have them. There's nobody who doesn't have any negative baggage or negative emotions or negative experience that they've had in their memory bank. We've all lost people, lost loved ones. We've all had experiences that have been traumatic to us as individuals, maybe in our childhood, maybe growing up, maybe we've lost a job, maybe we've nearly been bankrupt, maybe we've won the lottery, you know, maybe you've had a promotion which has changed your life, maybe you've moved to a completely new area that's given you a whole new lease of life. There's loads of different things that happen in day-to-day life that will end up being profound enough to be a constant in your memory bank. So the art is to use them all in a positive fashion as much as you possibly can. Okay, even the negative ones. And I often draw upon my negative emotions and I get more positive out of my negative experiences than I do my positive ones. So for example, you know, stuff that's happened positively, okay, like you know, you think about, you know, things like when your kids are born and stuff like that, which are just the most amazing positive experiences. I struggle to kind of use that as a reinforced kind of driver for me to keep going, because I know that I'm trying to give my children a better life, and that's a really big driver for me. But at the same time, I get more frequent use out of my negative experiences. So a couple of the ones, I've nearly been bankrupt before, and the stress and strain that put on my family, and I had to hold it all together and almost protect my family from the realisation that, you know, we were in real financial trouble, was horrendous, up there with the worst in my life. And that's now enabled me so fixated to not ever fall into that position again. And as a result, I have multiple businesses and multiple streams of income now, so that if one fails, I mean, we've got the example at the moment with our Property Empire Investments business. We were turning over 40-50 grand a month. A few months ago, one of the partners separates, and with all the negativity and splitting everything up, that revenue stream has basically been completely culled overnight. And yes, we're building it back up again, but if I had been solely reliant on that business, I would have been in real trouble unless I had significant savings. I now manage my money better. I have savings I've put away, all these things to kind of protect me for rainy days. Plus I have multiple businesses that all generate an income. So if one stream kind of dries up, the others can kind of carry it until it's brought back. So it's just recession proofing and contingency planning. Because of the experience I faced there, it really made me think that I need to be far more protected for environmental factors that can happen that are outside of my control. Partner choosing to leave wasn't my choice. So it's you have to be prepared for these things. But at the same time, the other one that I pull on quite often is my first ever marathon experience. And I've done a few kind of image-based posts on this recently, where I ran the hottest London marathon on record, 2018. It was about 26 degrees in the air, but on the track with all the people, and in London as a city, it was about 33 degrees. You try running a marathon in those conditions, and they had to have firemen on the course shooting their hoses to keep everybody wet. The number of casualties that you could see on the sidelines was just vast. I mean, I remember the last 10k and 5k in particular, I was out on my feet. I was at collapse, you know, heat exhaustion. You know, the wall was hitting the wall was an understatement. You know, I was delirious. I couldn't see. I was tunnel visioned. I was so weak and frail. If someone would have just pushed me very, very gently, I would have fallen over and I wouldn't have been able to get back up. So much so that I collapsed on the finish line when I managed to get over it with heat exhaustion. So that experience, I've never been. Basically, my body was shutting down. It was like I was close to dying. It might sound a bit extreme, but that's ultimately what was happening. My body was shutting down. I was dehydrated. I didn't have enough fluids in my system. I had zero energy. I was forcing my body to keep going, yet I had nothing to give. So it was all mental pushing. And when I look back on that now, I often think about any situation I'm facing, and I think, well, it's not going to be as bad as that situation. And David Goggins, in his book, You Can't Hurt Me, amazing guy, he talks about a calloused mind and drawing upon those experiences. I mean, it's like when you do loads and loads of chin-ups or pull-ups, you get calluses on your hands where you've been gripping so much, but those calluses protect your hand from blistering. Okay, so they're really the beneficial part of the process. And he's saying the same can happen with your mind. When you have negative experiences, you know, obviously the pain of getting blisters on pull-ups, your body is reactive and is giving you a callus to protect yourself from hurting yourself again in the future. And you can use that with your mind. And that's what you do with your memory bank. So when you get an experience that's really, you're scared, you're nervous, you can often draw upon worst case scenario, worst experience in your memory bank and say, you know what, it's not going to be anywhere near as bad as that. Because we all live in fear. Even the most confident of people will have a huge amount of fear in their body and in their mind, because that's what keeps us alert, keeps us alive. It's adrenaline. It's good. It protects us. And it's how to channel and understand the outcomes by drawing upon your memory bank that can get you through situations. I mean, I've got some situations coming up this week with the Runpreneur Challenge launch. I'm interviewing my mentor. I don't do many interviews, so he's a big social media marketing guru. He's got millions of podcast followers. He's very polished in this situation. Okay, I'm taking him out of his comfort zone because he probably hasn't been interviewed whilst running, and that's something I am fairly well skilled at these days. But not only that, not only do I have to, so I'm more comfortable running while speaking, but he's going to be more comfortable speaking and engaging an audience than perhaps I am. So I'm nervous about that. Okay, but I look at the end of the day what I'm doing. Nobody wants me to fail on this challenge that I'm embarking on, and trying to raise £1 million for children. So everybody's going to want me to succeed. So I'm not going to get any, I shouldn't get any negativity, hopefully. But secondly, he wants me to succeed. Everybody is going to want this to go well. So I just need to give it my best, and that's all I can do. And I'll get better and better with more and more interviews. And he wants to support the whole journey. So ultimately, if we have not the best of interviews, we can do another one further down the line when I'm a bit more skilled at that environment. At the same time, I've got a radio interview this week. Okay, it's a local radio, but it's massive in the area that I live in, and they want to interview me live on air. And okay, it's on over the phone, but again, it's like I need to be, I need to do my best to make sure that I come across as well as I can, because I could attract a load of new followers who are going to end up being donators to this amazing challenge. So, but then I think again, this is an amazing challenge. I've talked about this for so long. I can talk about this. I do it every day on my vlog. Why can't I just have to be confident enough to kind of overcome that? So I draw upon the negative stuff that's happened and say, well, it's never going to be as bad as that. And I look at the positive things, like when I have children, and think, you know what, I'm trying to save the lives of children like mine, okay? And that gives me huge motivation and power within to kind of push through my fears, push out of my comfort zone, and try and do this, because it's doing it for other people that matter so much more than my own insecurities. So I'm going to kind of leave it there today. So I've talked to you about what the memory bank is, and I've talked about how you can use it in different ways, and how you can always put a positive spin on situations where they're negative or positive. I've given you lots of examples of how I use them in today's world, in my emotions, my experiences. My memory bank is such a powerful tool, because we all have these profound memories that we just leave there almost scared to use, and bring them out. Get them to help yourself overcome adversity and drive yourself forward as an individual. It'll be absolutely game changing. And if there's not been enough reason in the episode today for you to consider doing the same, well, that's on you, and that's your choice, and I fully respect that. But don't hide away these negative memories, because a lot of people will mask them away, and they'll constantly be a hindrance to you in your life, whether it's anxiety, depression, because they're so bad experiences. Try and put a positive spin on that. The Tony Robbins example was that he had this lady, this young Eastern European lady, come on, who was suicidal. This was last chance saloon for her, and she'd been raped numerous times in her upbringing, had a lifetime of abuse as a child through to young adult, and she had no self-respect for herself, no self-confidence, wanted to commit suicide. It was that bad. It was the worst story you could ever hear. And he talked to her, and he gave her the confidence about using these profoundly negative experiences in her memory bank, to use them to make a difference to other women out there who are still going through the same things that she has been through, and to be a pioneer and to bring them, give them the strength and the confidence to keep going, to help them recover and live normal and happy lives. And that's what she did. She's now one of the biggest, I can't remember her name, but she's got foundations and charities and support networks set up to help women just like her dealing with these massive issues that go unnoticed by so many that are out there on a mass scale. And that's examples like that of why you should draw upon your negative emotions and experiences and turn them into positives if you can. So that's pretty much it for me today. All that's left to say is if you've got any comments, drop me a comment. I'll respond to every one. If it's a bigger question, I'll do a separate vlog episode and I'll tag you in. Please do check out the links in my bios where you can find out more about the Runpreneur Challenge and our mission to raise £1 million for children's charities by run vlogging on consecutive days a distance of 1 lap around the world. So please do check out how you can support the challenge financially and non-financially. Loads of ways you can get involved. So check out the website to find out more. And as always, I'll leave you with stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you tomorrow.